In this video, I'm going to talk to you about 3 major key points that helped me out tremendously when it comes to smart money concept. So with that being said, let's get straight to it. Now, one of those things that I always took in consideration was going to be primarily be able to understand that we are in an overall premium level inside the market. Now, what does that mean when it comes to a premium level inside the market? A premium level inside the market is going to be anything above a 50%. Anything below a 50% would be considered at a discount level. However, there are levels that I like to highly take in consideration. In this case, the 78.6 level is going to be my favorite level. And then also we have the 60 and the 65% level that I like to take into account whenever it meets up to my following key point, which is very important, which is going to be a point of interest, a accumulation of price, or also an area of insufficiency, also known as imbalance. Now, what are these 3 things I just mentioned? These 3 topics that I had just mentioned are going to be areas that are going to be acting as magnets for market to go ahead and potentially go into. So by that being said, let me go ahead and show you a couple of those examples, that way you know exactly what it is that you're looking for. When it comes to a overall point of interest, typically what we like to go ahead and look for are going to be candles that are taking out liquidity, either buy side or sell side liquidity, and then having that overall momentum push to the downside for a potential retracement back into that candle for it to continue with its overall direction. So with that being said, as we look right here on the chart, we can see a nice high, meaning that there is some liquidity over here in this section, and we can see it right over here on the right side that we have this nice up candle before that down move. Now this right here would be something that I would like to take into consideration as a potential point of interest, meaning that it is a POI, an area that I like to take into account for a potential move once market comes back and retraces into that same area. As we can see right here clearly, we were able to identify market was able to come in, wick, and then continue with its overall direction, which is going to be now bearish. Now, the following thing is going to be accumulation of price, which is what I mentioned in this case is going to be also a magnet. But what is accumulation of price? Accumulation of price acts as the same way or similar to a point of interest. However, the only difference is going to be the type of pattern, what it looks like. In this case scenario, what you'll be finding inside the market is going to be this like shape pattern, which is going to be something that we more than likely have already seen in our past, which is going to be this little Tetris pattern, as we can see. Now, when I identify this, what I am assuming what market is doing is that market has been accumulating a lot of price, a lot of orders within this area. So with that being said, whenever market continues on pushing down and comes back and reaches into that same area, I'm expecting for market to continue with its overall direction, which is in this case going to be potentially bearish. Now, the final and not least, but very, very important, is going to be areas of inefficiency, meaning where market is not in an equilibrium, therefore it's not balanced. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. Now, an area of imbalance, I'm going to go ahead and show you with a quick drawing right here, and then we'll go straight into the chart, is when market is doing these types of moves right here, and we see our body continuing moving to the downside. However, there may be some wicks within the first candle and the third candle. And as we can see right over here in this little gap, that is what we are going to be focusing on, because this right here is going to be what we like to call an area of inefficiency, also considered as imbalance. Whenever market leaves this behind, it's due to the fact that more than likely there was too much selling pressure, too much buying pressure, and therefore market needs to come back, rebalance itself, and once it does rebalance itself, continue with its overall direction, in this case bearish. So let me just go ahead and show you a couple of these examples on the charts itself. That way you can go ahead and find them next time you go ahead and look at your own charts. So as we can see right over here on this section, we do have an area of inefficiency where we can see right here this wick, this big candle, and then market came and wicked into here. Meaning that if I do see market come back into this section, I will potentially consider looking for some selling opportunities if the market provides what I like to consider a distribution schematic. Now, we're going to go more into that later on into the future, but right now I want you to focus on these 3 main factors. If we see market come into this section, and also knowing that we are at a potential discount level. So let's say that right here we'd be somewhere around the 62.5 Fibonacci level. That is something that I would consider as a potential premium. Therefore, we can be looking for those selling positions. Now, if we go ahead and look at this count of what happened over here, this would be considered as a potential point of interest, where we see this nice up candle before that down push, and market came back into that section. And another confirmation, like I did mention, is going to be that Fibonacci level. Me being able to understand if market is in a equilibrium, is in a discount, a premium, and once I understand if it is a premium or a discount, I'll be able to take advantage of that. As we can see, market came up all the way to the 88.6 level, which is a nice premium level to take in consideration alongside with other market correlations for a continuation to a downside, seeking down this liquidity that we have in this section right over here. So those are a couple things that I take into account. Now, with that being said, I hope you enjoy this video. As always, leave your comments down below to let me know what you'd like to see next. Leave a like, smash that like button for me because it does mean a lot for us. So I hope you enjoy this information, and I'll see you next time. Have a great one. Bye-bye.